What's happening, hardscapers? This is episode 325 of the How to Hardscape podcast, where we talk about how you can start and grow your hardscaping business. And on today's episode, I'm going to be talking about making the most out of the leads that you have. Still, I'm getting messages rolling in from contractors around North America, just talking about how the season is going, and some contractors noting how difficult a year it has been. For the most part, everybody's experiencing that sales has become more difficult than it has been in the past few years. But some companies are doing better than others, and still getting some contractors reaching out to see what they can do to get the ball rolling, to get jobs on their schedule now. So I'm just going to be talking about what I've done in the past and what I've done this year to be able to fill my schedule and make the most out of the leads that are coming in or have come in the past. We'll be talking about marketing spend, we'll be talking about leads, and we'll be talking about upsells in this. But before we get into today's episode, we want to say thank you to our sponsors. Cycle CPA. If you're looking for bookkeeping, accounting, CFO services, reach out to Cycle CPA at cyclecpa.com. Let them know How to Hardscape sent you for money off their services there. Patio SEO has hopped on board as a sponsor, and they are a leading marketing and brand building company in the hardscape industry. And if you don't know, this company is run by James Reed. We've had him on the podcast a couple of times, some of our more popular episodes, and he owns hardscape businesses across the country. And now you can have access to the same in-house marketing team that he has access to at patioseo.com. So if you're looking for a killer website, targeted ads, or data-driven strategies to grow, check them out at patioseo.com. August 19th to the 20th, Knowledge Tree Consulting is having another event at Koivik. This event is in Toronto. Koivik is in Milton. I went to their event last year with Earthscape. It was awesome. I can't recommend this enough. There's going to be a link in the show notes for you to sign up for it and get 50% off your tickets today. If you're planning to go to Hardscape North America in Louisville, Kentucky, October 22nd to the 24th, you can use promo code VIPHTH to sign up, get 50% off your registration. That also gives us a little bit of a kickback and helps us here at the How to Hardscape podcast. And without further ado, let's get into today's episode. Marketing spend, leads, and upsells are the topics of conversation today. And when it comes to marketing spend, what has worked for me this year and the past year has been Facebook ads. And I've talked about this on previous episodes, but just making sure that my face is on the video and clearly explaining a specific problem that my clients are experiencing in the background, and then getting into more detail with that. It really helps to have some sort of hook in place to keep them watching from when that video immediately starts playing. You can get very creative with this. You can ask ChatGPT for ideas for this. But specifically what I've been running lately is just my face, and in the background is a patio that is in need of repair, clear repair, lift and relay specifically. And that's the problem that I'm addressing in the video is, hey, does your patio look like this? And in that, I have a picture of the patio and the screen starts to tilt. So that just creates some sort of visual hook for that screen is starting to tilt on their screen, and I'm just saying, hey, is your patio sinking as the screen starts to tilt? And then I just go in on the problems that they might be experiencing with their patio and how we can help to fix them. Getting a little bit more technical with that, I shoot in with a GoPro in 4K for my videos, so that when I do create the ad doesn't lose resolution when it goes to vertical format. So that's just a quick tip there, so you don't lose the quality of your video. It goes down to 1080p HD basically when it becomes a vertical video from that 4K video. I believe, at least I don't notice a huge drop in quality for that. So when I shoot, I make sure that my face is center or slightly off center of frame, so that it can be used both in that horizontal landscape aspect as well as the portrait or vertical format for that. And it's not going to crop my face out or anything like that, but we're still going to get visual of the background when I'm talking to the camera. But when I'm looking at my marketing spend, I want to be about 2.5% of my revenue for a project coming in. So it's something that I'm always looking at and seeing when or if I do drop below that. Perhaps I need to launch a new ad, just new creative, just because it's kind of tapped out the certain area that I'm focusing in on or targeting. Or perhaps just my ad is not working and I need to update it. It does help to launch a few ads at once, see how it's going. Maybe there's an outlier ad and then just canceling the other 2 ads or diminishing the budget for those ads that I'm spending on and just putting that budget into the one ad that's actually working. But like I said, I'm looking at 2.5% of my revenue should be coming from my ad spend. That's my return on ad spend. So to give an example for that, like 2% would be if I spend $1,000, I'd hope to bring in about $50,000 worth of projects. That would be 2%. Now, if you're just getting started in ads, you're not likely going to see that. And if you are subbing this marketing spend out to somebody to manage these ads for you, you're likely not going to see that as well. It's going to be a bit higher in terms of percentage of your revenue. This is just what I'm looking for in my business. In the past, when it's been much easier, it's been about 1% of my revenue. And lately it's gone up to 2%. And then this year we're about 2.5% of our revenue is what we're budgeting for marketing. And if it is as big as a difference of 0.5%, I make sure to update my budget for this. So I go into my How to Hardscape headquarters software, just do a quick update of my budget of what that 0.5% represents for the remainder of that year and update my budget so I know, because 0.5% is going to be $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, and I want to make sure that I'm recovering that cost, because I don't want to spend that money when I don't need to out of my own pocket or my own profits. But your return on ad spend is not just dictated by how much you're spending on ads and how much you're getting off the back end. It's also determined on how much you're actually selling that average project value for. And I have increased this by just adding features to projects in a show, don't tell sort of way. I'm not a huge salesperson. I'm not heavy on, high pressure sales or being like, hey, you need a fire feature in this. What has really worked for me, and I've talked about this at length in the past, is a welcome package that shows everything that we do so that our clients can take a look at it. I make sure that I try my best to make sure that my clients actually take a look at it. So when I do get a lead that reaches out, I send them, hey, here's our welcome package. I would take a look at it because our portfolio is in there. So if you want to see the work that we do, it's in video format. You can click on the videos and watch what we do. And it also has different sections for how we install projects step by step, so you can see exactly how we're going to install your project, and there's videos linked throughout each of those steps. And then it also has our services that we offer in terms of the different features that we can install: lighting, fire, water, whatever you might want in your backyard. And that actually does the selling for me. I've worked really hard to accumulate a catalog of videos that I can use, that I can leverage in this welcome package to really differentiate myself from other contractors that a potential client might be looking at, or they might be just be in the initial sort of conversation start of getting their project quoted or designed. And I've already had a client look at that welcome package. They were already willing to go with me for a patio, and they said, hey, I really like the look of that fire feature. How much does that fire feature cost? I told them an approximate amount. They said, let's go with something like that as well in the design. Things like as simple as seat walls with lighting. People really love the look of the photos that are in the welcome package. And it's a lot more organized and concise in the welcome package, as opposed to telling a client, hey, landscape lighting would look beautiful underneath this. And then, they aren't able to visualize that, especially if it's a smaller project. You might not be doing a design for it, but if you can visually show them, show, don't tell, you can upsell them on that. And all of those upsells increase the revenue on that project, the sale of that project, which then gets you a better return on ad spend that you spent to initially get that lead in the door for you. Photos work really well for this, but even better, videos show so much more to that client. So that's why we've really focused on that video catalog to showcase the fire features that we do, the showcase the landscape lighting that we do, the seat walls, all these different features that we can do for our clients, show them off in video format, but have it in a concise way. And that's what that welcome package has really done for us. And that welcome package is a sales tool now in my business because it can sell these different features to my potential clients or clients. And I don't have to then focus in on in a sales consultation, hey, we can do this, this, and this, and show them some photos. Instead, I can just look at that welcome package. It's got everything that we possibly do in it. It's got videos that you can take a look at. And now that the time spent on that welcome package has paid for itself time and time again, and I just started using it this year. If you want, I can send you our welcome package. Just send me an Instagram message at @howtohardscape, and I'll send you ours so that you can take a look at it, get some inspiration from it, and pull whatever you want from it into your own, or even like a landing page on your website, a welcome package sort of hyperlink that you can link in. I still prefer the PDF because it's attached there in the email. They don't have to then click on the website, let the website load. It's always available for them in PDF format, and it's very concise, and they're not clicking around on other things in your website, getting distracted. Everything that they want is right there in that welcome package. So increase your return on ad spend by upsells, things that you can add to the project. Also, future projects for that client are going to decrease that cost on ad spend for this because you are getting more revenue from that client in the future, which is really why we've doubled down both for my business as well as reasons to support our software users with the How to Hardscape headquarters software on smaller projects, because I've seen from doing smaller projects in the past and coming into this year where those clients are reaching out to me again to now do their backyard patio. So we are focusing in on those smaller projects, front walkways, front steps, side walkways that need to be repaired, even backyard patios that need to be repaired, because I'm seeing the best bang for my buck for ad spend, because we're able to target a very specific problem that those clients are having, as opposed to saying in a ad that, hey, we do full outdoor living spaces, patios, and everything. We get a much better bang for our buck when we specifically focus in on one thing. So I've got an ad for repairing steps. I've got an ad for repairing a patio. I've got an ad for, I used to run it, but I don't anymore because I don't want to do it anymore, but replacing the polymeric sand in between the joints. So very specific things that I target on each of those ads, as opposed to saying, hey, we do X, Y, and Z service. Instead, we just focus in on one service that we offer. And now I'm seeing 3 years down the road, we're getting repeat business from those clients. Another way to do this, to decrease your ad spend, is just word of mouth. That also decreases the amount that you have to spend, or the return on ad spend. So if you complete a project for somebody, they're happy, first ask for a Google review. That's also a great way that your ad spend can bring in a Google review and get your website ranked higher, get your business ranked higher in Google, which will then bring in more leads to your business from searching for terms that your website should be ranking for. I've gone in depth on SEO, search engine optimization, and keywords and everything on this podcast. So definitely take a look at previous marketing episodes that we've done. But that is a way to get a better return on your ad spend. And then asking that client if they know anybody else that might be interested in your services. Because if they have somebody that they can refer you to, once again, you spent $1,000, that got you $50,000 worth of work. Well, then that person has somebody that they can refer you to. Maybe that'll jump to $75,000 worth of work, all for that $1,000 ad spend. So you're just trying to get the most bang for your buck for your ad spend. And that does mean asking for those reviews afterwards, something that I've become much more intentional about that I just pushed off in the past. It doesn't make sense to push that off. As soon as you know that client's happy, as soon as you've gotten paid, hey, I'd really appreciate it if you dropped us a 5-star rating on our Google My Business page. It really helps us, and they are willing to do that if they are happy, of course. And then in that same email, if you know anybody that may be interested in our services, we'd really appreciate a word or for you to refer us to them if they're looking for that in the future. But if you are struggling for leads right now, what you should be doing is doing what I just said to past clients, reaching out to them, asking them if they know anybody that might be interested in your services. You can have some sort of incentive to help with that, asking them if they're happy to give you a rating on Google. If there's anything, first and foremost, if it is a project that is a year, 2, 3 years old, just, hey, how's your project doing? Is there anything that we can help? Hopefully you've done a great job so that there isn't something that needs addressed and that client is still happy with your work. And then lead into, if you don't mind, I'm focusing in on getting some great 5-star ratings and reviews on our Google My Business. You can leave it there. You might want to do that on a separate email so that you know that they're happy initially with that response back from your initial email, asking them how is everything going? How's their project doing? And then once you know that they're happy, ask for that Google review as well as a referral if they are happy with your services. We want to take a break from today's episode to thank our sponsor, Cycle CPA. It's crucial to review your financial statements on a monthly basis so you can diagnose areas for improving your business's financial health early before they become significant issues. Too many contractors wait until the end of the year to review their financials as they file taxes, when it's often too late to take action to change the outcome. Cycle CPA not only handles bookkeeping and taxes, but they also ensure that you're armed with financial data on a monthly basis to make key business decisions. They offer benchmarking, cash flow forecasting, and assistance in developing targets for financial metrics. With their team of accountants specialized in the hardscape and landscape industry, they currently work with hundreds of companies in this field. Visit cyclecpa.com, and for $200 off, mention the How to Hardscape podcast. Now back to our episode. We want to take a break from today's episode to talk about marketing. Are you looking to take your hardscape business to the next level? Well, this is brought to you by Patio SEO, the leading marketing and brand building company in the hardscape industry. And if you don't know, this company is run by James Reed, who owns multiple hardscape businesses across the country. And here's the kicker. You're not just getting access to any team. You're getting access to the very team that helped grow James's own companies, plus hundreds of others in the industry. Whether you need a killer website, targeted ads, or data-driven strategies to grow, Patio SEO has got you covered. They've been in your shoes and know exactly what works. We've had James Reed on the podcast a couple of times, and there's some of our more popular episodes, talking about branding, talking about how he's built companies across the country. And with that, he needs lots of leads, which means he's had to perfect his branding and marketing. And now you can have access to that same in-house team that he has access to for his own hardscape company. So if you're ready to build your brand and see some serious growth, check them out at patioseo.com. That's patioseo.com, or follow James on Instagram at Road to 100Ms. That's Road to 100MS. Let's get your business the attention it deserves. Now back to the episode. And then once you've tapped that out, go to all of your past leads that have come in. Either you dropped the ball on communication, or they ghosted you, or maybe they just didn't even respond in the first place when you emailed them, reached out to them, whatever it might be. This helped me last year, because last year what happened was during the spring rush, my website form stopped working. So all of a sudden I felt this, oh my goodness, this is going to be a slow year. Turns out I found out about a month after it happened that my website form stopped submitting to my email the leads that were coming in. So when I thought it was just being slow, I reached out to all of my past leads because I was in a rush to get some sort of projects in my schedule. And I was still getting phone calls, which was great. So I still did have some work, but not the website leads that were coming in. So I reached out to every single website lead that came in, whether it was me who dropped the ball on communication. And I just said, hey, reaching out. I saw you reached out to us last year. It seems I dropped the ball on communication. Is there anything that I can help you with this year? That led into projects coming in. If it was somebody that did not respond back to an initial email from me, I reached out to them just seeing, hey, is there anything that we can do for you this year? It turns out a lot of people will reach out, and then when you reply to their email to get the ball rolling in your sales process, they'll just stop because they weren't quite ready to, or they decided, you know what, let's push it off till next year. They didn't let you know. People will then, if you reach out to them this year, oh, actually, yeah, we are looking for work and we want it done this year. And that led to then projects getting in the calendar for us, into the schedule. So reach out to all your leads that have come in the past. Definitely prioritize the past year and then go into that second year if it need be, and so on there. And also make sure that your website form is working correctly. I test it every once in a while from now on. I actually ran into the same problem this year because I did change my website form plugin on WordPress, and it did stop for a few weeks this season. Unfortunately, during a time that would have been nice to have once again during the spring rush. So I changed website form providers, and I test every month now just to make sure that it is working. And if you want to go even further to that to get more leads in, especially for free or inexpensive or a kickback, is to reach out to complimentary service providers in your area. Think asphalt companies. They constantly need somebody, if they don't do it themselves, to replace or repair a front walkway before they do their asphalt, so that they have something to asphalt up that is a, straight where that asphalt might meet the front walkway, and that front walkway project might lead into a step repair or a step replacement going up to the porch, and then that porch might also need a overlay if the client is interested in that. So those are all things that they just stack on top of the other. If you get that front walkway, that could also be a step. That could also be steps, or it could also be an overlay that you can sell. So there's lots of things there. If you get your foot in the door, to just constantly think of things that you can provide your client, upsells, or just think of them as solutions or adding to what they can do to their project. And these can also be phased out. So just because you don't get that, you do that front walkway, maybe it comes with a step. Think about what they can do in the future for that overlay. Give them that option. Give them a price range that it might fall into. Keep them thinking about it till next year. And then next year, hey, just wanted to send you an email and see if you wanted to go ahead with that overlay this year. So it's always an option for a future contact with them. If you provide your client with all the different solutions or things that they can do in their space, and going back to the very beginning, all of this, if you are spending money on ads to get clients in the door, all of these things increase the return on that ad spend. If you spend $1,000 on ads to bring business into your business, to bring clients into your business, you want to make sure that that $1,000 is going as far as it possibly can for you. Even if you hire out your ad management to a service, patioseo.com, just know that what they do for you for their services, beyond if they're doing your website and you're spending money on that, but if you give them some sort of monthly management for your ads, it's also up to you to make the most of those leads that come in. Because if you have a lead that comes in that's just for a backyard patio, and you think that that's all that lead's going to be, and you don't communicate properly to the client of what you can actually do beyond just a backyard patio for them, and you don't show, you just tell them, that is just going to be a backyard patio at best. If you show them what you can do, if you have a great sales process, if you communicate properly, if you show them, especially in video format, the things that you can do for them, that backyard patio might then include a gas fire feature, a seat wall with lighting for if you communicate to them that, hey, this lighting is going to help you in the evening to be able to enjoy your space, because you are going to be in your space during the weekday, but in the evenings, because you're not there during the day, you're likely at work or on the weekends, and more than likely you're going to be entertaining it in the evening in that space. So you want some sort of lighting, and this is what this hardscape lighting underneath the seat wall is going to provide. If you offer pergolas, this is a pergola that we can build for you, and so on. Once again, show, don't tell, don't just tell. You can definitely talk to them about the different services and things that you can offer for them, but also show them in a visual representation of what that can look like. And that way, if you spent $500 on ads and all it brought in was a good lead for a patio, well, that $500 might be a $10,000 patio, very small patio. But if you add on top of those different things that you can do for that client, all of a sudden that $500 becomes $25,000 when it could have just been that $10,000, and your return on ad spend wouldn't be as good as if you had a good sales process in place to show your client, to upsell your clients on what that space could actually be. Not to mention, you could just do that backyard patio for that client, but now they know and they have that seed in place of what their backyard could be in the future. And if you do a good job, they'll be coming back to you, which then increases that return on ad spend, that initial return on ad spend for you. So just because you're not doing it this year doesn't mean they won't come back to you next year or in a future year to look at what else they can do for their backyard. Maybe they get that patio, they didn't listen to you on what that lighting can provide, what that gas fire feature can provide, and they realize the potential now, the way that they're using their yard, that it could be used to a greater potential, and now they need to reach out to you to have the rest done for them. And if you do have a client that you did that phased approach in the past, make sure to reach out to them, because that'll be an inexpensive way to get some sort of project in the schedule. If you can remember and make note of the different things that you offered to your clients in the past, and you are able to then reach out to them and say, hey, are you ready for that porch overlay? Hey, are you ready for that pergola that we discussed that you ended up not going with? Or that, backyard patio extension that we were talking about that you ended up not going with. All these different clients, definitely reach out to them. Hey, are you planning to attend HNA Hardscape North America, October 22nd to the 24th in Louisville, Kentucky? Well, you can use our promo code VIPHTH to get 50% off your tickets, or you can click the link in the show notes below to register for this. I've gone the past 2 years. It is awesome. A massive trade show along with the Equip Exposition with more than 1,000 exhibits, 42,000 square feet hardscape house, as well as a 30+ acre outdoor demo yard that you can demo equipment. There's the HNA Awards ceremony. There's lots of educational sessions throughout the day, and there's more than enough events before and after the trade show itself. I've always enjoyed my time. I'll see you there. Use the code VIPHTH to get 50% off your tickets, and register sooner rather than later, because tickets do increase leading up to the show. Knowledge Tree Consulting, George and Peter of Oriole Landscaping. You've heard me talk about them on previous episodes. They have an event coming up August 19th to the 20th. This is going to be a behind the scenes tour of Koivik, a second generation multi-division firm known for operational excellence and exceptional results. I went to a Knowledge Tree Consulting event last year. That was with Earthscape. You've heard me have Sam Bauman on from that business, and this was a really great event. I cannot recommend this enough. The first day, there's going to be a welcome reception and an optional networking dinner. The next day, early in the morning, departing for Koivik, doing the facility tour, which includes the shop, soil production, specimen tree nursery, office operations, and client experience. So you rotate through those different areas. And then after that facility tour, back at the hotel, there's going to be strategy sessions and then an evening dinner. This is in Toronto. The shop is in Milton. And there's going to be a link in the show notes for you to get 50% off your tickets through the How to Hardscape podcast. So click that link, learn more about that event, and register today. And all of this is going to increase your return on ad spend, decrease how much you are spending on ads to get work in the door, and it's going to lead to a much more full schedule for you for this season. Just make sure whatever you're spending, you are extending the return on that spend as much as you possibly can. And if you are spending money on your website, just know that's an investment into the future for your business, and you're not likely to see a return on that immediately. But having that is a great way for it to pay dividends into the future for your business. Not to mention, and I know it's tough to start creating video content, I love YouTube for this because it's long form content that I'm able to include in my welcome package so that the client clicks on it, they see my face. There's some sort of social proof there with the subscribers, the comments that they see, and so on and so forth. That social proof is big, and it's only going to get bigger for younger clients aging up and having disposable income for their projects. But they see my face, they see the projects that we're doing, they see how we're installing it step by step. I have videos on every single step of the process that are in depth. Everything from a video on how deep we dig for patios, retaining walls, and driveways. A video specifically on woven and non-woven geotextiles. A video specifically on geogrid. A video specifically on open graded base versus dense graded base versus synthetic base. A video specifically on screeding. A video specifically on laying, jointed compound, edge restraint. A video on each of these things so that in that welcome package, it is laid out step by step, and there's a video that they can click on. They see my face. They know who's actually going to be installing their project. They get comfortable with me before I even go out to their site for an initial consultation. And then if they didn't click on any of those videos in that welcome package, which all of those, if they have, that comfortability when I go out to that initial consultation, I can feel it. I can feel how comfortable they are, as opposed to having somebody that they just communicated through email or on phone. They already are more comfortable with me because they've seen my face on those videos, and that helps a lot. I can feel it, and they even say, hey, I went through your welcome package. That was great. Those videos that you have there, very, very in-depth and very helpful. If they didn't, then I still include those videos in my proposal, step by step and hyperlinked, so that when they get my proposal through our How to Hardscape headquarters software, which automatically pulls those, I don't have to type them out every single time. If I choose pavers, that I'm installing a paver project, those step-by-step instructions hyperlinked to my videos show up in my proposal just based on me choosing that I'm doing a paver project. And I send that proposal out, and I also get compliments on clients saying, I love how detailed your proposals were, and those videos helped a lot. So all of this plays a factor in getting a better return on your ad spend. Think first off, your creative, how you are creating your content for those ads. Video, I highly recommend specific problems that clients experiencing. So think return on ad spend, creative. What are you doing for your creative? Upsells, so other things that you can add to the project. Show, don't tell. And number 3 is just reaching out to past leads that came in from your ad spend, making sure that maybe you can do a project for them in the future or this year, and then asking for referrals from those clients that you spent ad money on, or clients in general. All of this is going to increase your return on ad spend, decrease the amount that you're spending on ads, and help your business. And thank you for listening to today's podcast episode. Once again, if you want our welcome package, I'll send it to you at HowToHardscape on Instagram. Send me a message. I'll send you that welcome package. And I'd also love to know if you enjoyed this episode. Send me that message at HowToHardscape on Instagram. Any topics, suggestions, guest suggestions, also send me a message there. Would love to hear from you. 5-star ratings, reviews, Apple, Spotify. We talked about getting Google reviews in your business. Well, I'm asking you for an Apple or Spotify review. Those really do help. Apple, it gives you a chance to give a written review as well. I would really appreciate that. Apple, Spotify reviews. And before we leave you, we want to say thank you to our sponsors. Cycle CPA. If you're looking for bookkeeping, accounting, CFO services, reach out to Cycle CPA at cyclecpa.com. Let them know How to Hardscape sent you for money off their services there. PatioSEO.com. And now you know Patio SEO can take your hardscape business to the next level. James Reed and his expert team have built a reputation on success, not just for their own companies, but for hundreds of others just like yours. So don't wait. Visit PatioSEO.com to learn more and get started. But also be sure to follow James's journey on Instagram at Road to 100 M's. That's Road to 100 MS for behind the scenes tips and insights. And I do recommend checking that out and following along to that. Ready to build your brand? Patio SEO is here to help you every step of the way. August 19th to the 20th, Knowledge Tree Consulting is having another event at Koivik. This event is in Toronto. Koivik is in Milton. I went to their event last year with Earthscape. It was awesome. I can't recommend this enough. There's going to be a link in the show notes for you to sign up for it and get 50% off your tickets today. If you're planning to go to Hardscape North America in Louisville, Kentucky, October 22nd to the 24th, you can use promo code VIPHTH to sign up, get 50% off your registration. That also gives us a little bit of a kickback and helps us here at the How to Hardscape podcast. And we look forward to meeting with you next week on the How to Hardscape podcast.